Greetings, Misplayers. Keith here at Slight Misplay. Now, Rathskellers is currently in the midst of their Sunny Geeks Kickstarter campaign for a affordable or more affordable game table. So I'll be doing a separate video with my thoughts on that. First, today, to show you why those thoughts might be relevant to you, we're going to wrap our minds around the big one. This beast right here. The centerpiece of my gaming space, my Rathskellers Councilor table. I've only seen a couple reviews on this. They're from a while ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and they're from gaming professionals who had just got their shiny new game table with their custom logos on the felt. Some got them at a hefty discount for being so influential, and that's fine. But this is a huge investment, and when I was shopping for a table, I wish there were more reviews on such a hefty purchase and thoughts on how to get the most of it out of it once you have it, and maybe some caveats on what these things are really like in an actual gaming experience, how to customize it, how to make it yours, what kind of work is involved in that. So I'm not a famous or successful gaming personality yet. And as such, I paid full price for this table right here. And I have been beating the hell out of it ever since for the past nearly 3 years with multiple gaming groups and 2 small kids. How did it hold up? This thing is awesome. This is a custom premium game table. It ain't cheap, and it doesn't look or feel cheap. This is solid rustic oak, stained and finished to protect it from that one friend who, even though you went out and bought more than enough individual cup holders for everyone, set them up ahead of time on the rail system, still puts their damn glass on the railing. It's going to be fine. It's finished. It's stained and finished, and it's solid. It's not going to move around too much under the worst of conditions. Now, I got the add-on LED light system with mine, as well as the Bluetooth sound system, because shiny and flashy and awesome, and you're getting this once. So I saw it like that. This isn't something I'm trading in a couple of years and getting a new one. This isn't something I'm sending back for upgrades. I mean, the company's in Greece, so I went all in. That's what I would recommend. Let's go into why. Let's take a tour here. So the table itself is clearly the centerpiece, and I mean, look at it. It's impressive. It's a well-made piece of furniture dedicated for your hobby of tabletop games. Maybe it's your primary or even your only hobby. It's going to be the centerpiece of any room you put it in, whether it's a dedicated gaming space or a dining room that you convert from time to time into a dedicated gaming space. So first, with the tour, there's the game cellar, the first stop. This is what makes it a game table. You've got a dropped elevation area. It's going to be the focal point of your players. It's going to keep your game stuff where it should be, not falling on the floor, especially dice. I can't stand it when somebody rolls dice in the middle of a session and the die falls on the floor. Everything has to stop so they can find it. Now I am completely comfortable because I've got plenty of insurance with the game cellar here. It's going to keep all the dice where they should be. Anybody in my house that makes a die roll during a D&D game and that die falls on the floor, that is an automatic critical fail. You have to work to get the dice out of this table. The game cellar also allows you to save your game. And this, for me, was the number one reason for looking into a gaming table in the first place. I love big games, and I cannot lie. Those games take time to set up. They take time to play. After spending a full hour setting up Rune Wars or Gloomhaven or War of the Ring, you want to play that thing through to its glorious end. But in one night... Now, I had a core group for a while of me and 2 other gamers who would meet every other week to play. They would travel 30 to 45 minutes away. And that's with both of them driving like frickin' Furiosa. So they're getting away from their parental household responsibilities twice a month, driving an hour, showing up at 7 to 8:30 on a Friday or Saturday night. Even if I did as much setup as I could ahead of time, we're in for a long night if we want to finish that game. And they still need to drive home. And our kids... Kids don't care if you were up until 2:30 a.m. the night before collecting the last dragon rune. Or if they do care, they want to know about it at 6 a.m. the next morning, no matter how much sleep you got. So my big want here was that you have to be able to save the game safely on the bottom layer until next time. If this is your dining room table, you kind of have to do that to give your family a place to eat, the kids to a place to do homework or now remote schooling. But even if it's if it's not your dining room table, do you want to have to choose between cleaning up that game you just spent hours playing and an hour setting up or not playing something else in between sessions? I mean, you're going to end up spending another 2 hours cleaning up the big game and then resetting it up. So that was a huge selling point for me on why to get a game table, why to get something that could save something and pick it up again later on, play something else in the meantime, use the table for something else in the meantime. What else is the game seller for? It's great for a grand reveal for a sick Dwarven Forge build for your RPG group. Build a big dungeon, cover it with the leaves. Now, keep in mind, the cellar is pretty deep, but you're not going to fit your leaves on top in the ledge here of your taller terrain pieces without moving them down a little bit, breaking it apart a little bit, or even some of your taller game pieces, like they say the Death Star from Star Wars Rebellion, or your X-Wing pieces. The leaves aren't quite going to fit on top of it. You're going to have to move them down or do something else about that. But for the most part, as it is, it does a great job of just covering the bases and with minimal reset up in between or knockdown in between. You could, I think, talk to Rathskellers about getting a deeper game seller, but I would lean away from that because it can be a bit of a strain to reach down any further than the standard depth. And I find myself standing a lot when I play now, or just kneeling on a stool, or standing like Captain Morgan on a stool like this, and looking over the game. And that I'm comfortable with that. There's other reasons for that too. When you have things set up over here, I find myself standing a lot. So I wouldn't necessarily go any deeper unless that's something you've already thought about, if you've already played another table that has more of a depth to it. Also, with little kids, that can be kind of an issue because they've already got to get up high enough, probably standing on a precarious chair or stool or bench or something like that, and leaning back down again. It can, they also end up leaning on some of the other components that we're going to get to. So I wouldn't go any lower with the game seller unless you really thought it through. It would be tempting. Do you want to host game nights? Do you want to play multiple games without a lot of wasted time in between with cleanup and setup? With the game seller, now you can. You can fit 2 games in the cellar ready to go. So when you finish your appetizer filler games on top, you just clear everything off. You save all the sorting and the bagging and boxing for future you, and you open up the second level, and now you're ready to play. You can have your own mini epic game day at your disposal. With my table, I'm able to fit, I tried this out somewhat comfortably, still confined by the laws of time and space. I can get 4 games on top and bottom, 2 on top, 2 on bottom. I was able to fit, I did this with 2-player games when I did this, but I was able to fit in the game seller. I was able to fit Space Hulk, pretty big map for Space Hulk, and Battle Lore, full board of Battle Lore, and then put on top Forbidden Stars and a non-regulation, but really who cares, game of X-Wing. That's all at the same time. The idea being that we could play one, move over to the other, go to the top, go to the bottom, and do that. And it was set up pretty well. Obviously, we wanted to play the top games first, clean those up a little bit, and then go to the bottom. Could you do it the other way? It gets a little tricky. So for this video, I also did some setup for an imagined Star Wars theme day. You're welcome. I was able to fit fairly comfortably Star Wars Rebellion on one side, Imperial Assault on the other side, both in the bottom, and then on top, a game of X-Wing. Again, not regulation, but really, who cares? Not bad. Not bad. I mean, you can play a quick game of X-Wing, dump everything off the top, take off the top, play Rebellion and Imperial Assault, or maybe you have two groups playing at the same time for those games. I mean, that's the dream, right? So that brings us to the first add-ons that we have here. And they call these add-ons, but let's be honest, most of these really aren't optional if you're looking into a dedicated game table. This is what you're getting the game table for, is for the big thing, but also all the little things that go on with it. Now, what you're mainly going to find optional is the sizes and the numbers of these things. There might be a couple that you would just completely opt out of. But I found most of these to be essential to the gaming experience I was looking for. And for such a big investment, I wanted to get everything, get the most bang for my buck out of everything. And that sometimes means spending a little more to make the initial investment more worthwhile. I checked my invoice on this, and I actually spent twice as much on add-ons as I did for the actual just table itself. So remember, when they say, starting price, that's what that means. But come on, you're at the party here. This is let's play the games. The best 80 euros I spent on the table was for what they call an add-on. This is essential. This is a no-brainer. It's these ledge lines along the edge of the table. And I've heard others rave about these, and all I think about when I hear ledge lines is, Marines, get on the ready line! Are you mean? Yes, this little beautiful bastard goes all the way around the table, and it holds your damn cards. And I know, it sounds little and stupid, but holy crap. I mean, how many misplays have my friends and I made over the years because we had forgotten about one of our cards, because we had 3 hands of different sized cards that got pushed face down when we went to get a drink or move a piece or go to the bathroom or whatever. And now every player can have all of their options right in front of their face. And whether it's action cards in Gloomhaven, or orders in Battle Lore, or missions in Star Wars Rebellion, or a million other little things in Eldritch Horror and Rune Wars and War of the Ring, or spells if you're playing an RPG, having all your spell cards. The best part about this, the really best part, is when you beat your friends at a game and afterwards they say, oh, I forgot I had this awesome card that totally would have let me beat you. And you can just look at your awesome table and they're sitting right there and you're saying, you know what? I gave you every advantage to not forget those cards. And you still beat them. So there's that. Another thing that's going to help with the cards is the felt. This is one of the things that makes this a gaming table as well. You don't have to fuss with cards on a wooden tabletop anymore, sliding them around, trying to get your fingernails underneath. Cards glide across the felt when you're dealing them. They're easy to pick up. The felts that come with the Rathskellers tables have some give in them. They've got, I think, some kind of a board in the middle. It's definitely a solid piece. It's not like a roll-up felt or anything like that. But it does have some foam or some give to it, so you can get your hands underneath them and pick those cards up without having to slide them. Same thing with like coins or other tokens. Really, really easy to grab. It's a nice tactile experience. And as every Dwarven Forge builder knows, it's always better to build on felt. You also won't cringe anymore when your friends are rolling their big new premium metal dice on your wooden tabletop and just hear that sound and you're just wondering how many scratches and nicks are going into your tabletop. But if they're on the felt, they're fine. Still gives a nice sound, still gives a great effect. Everything's still level. It's a great experience. You have the option to get your main felt double-sided. I want you to take that option. Do what I did, get 2 different colors, 2 different textures, just as Rathskellers recommends. I could not be happier with this. This is a solid board covered in, I think they call it burgundy, but I call it blood red. And that's blood red speed cloth, Simonis speed cloth, which I think is the professional grade. I don't know. I'm not going to poker tables in Vegas or anything like that, but I think this is the industry standard for speed cloth. It feels great. It's got black velveteen on the opposite. It's perfect for me. It's pretty stain resistant. I've seen a couple smudges. I'm not sure what they were. They were most likely my fault. I didn't see something. But overall, I asked them how to clean it, and pretty much just get yourself a dust buster. And put it on. I have mine on like the pet hair setting or something like that, and put it on low and just sweep it up. I tried using felt brushes that I didn't really like that. Every time I would roll a little adhesive felt brush across it, it would come up with all the little hairs, and I would just have to look at it. So it's probably happening with the vacuum too, but it's easy to clean. I think it's pretty stain resistant, but again, you've got cup holders now. Oh, we'll get to those. So there shouldn't be too many spills on it anyways, but I do vacuum this up. They do, you'd be surprised at how many little pieces of cardboard come off just when you're playing a game. Just little bits just end up everywhere. World's falling apart. It's just what happens. So I got this nice big felt, double-sided, 2 colors, 2 textures, perfect for me. You want to get more out of the felt, you need a topper. Let's grab one over here. These guys, big, 3 of them. They fit on top of the table. They fit right in the same ledge that your table leaves for like a dining room table are going to fit on. And they're going to cover up your game cellar and whatever's going on down there so you can play something on top. They recommend these for poker and other card games. It's also good for kids that, like I said, aren't quite tall enough to reach down into the cellar easily. Mine's in 3 pieces. I think they all are. Easy to put on, easy to take off, and it makes the game space very, very versatile, especially when you have these guys, which are trench patrols. Now, what can I do with this? I can create a 2-level play area. Quick caveat: the felt topper does not sit flush on the outside ledge here. So putting the felt on top of the felt topper is not going to extend your playing space out into the outer ledge. Just be aware of that. So if you've got a dungeon that's like super huge, there is going to be a little bit of almost like a mini rail in front of that from the felt. It's going to be like a step down onto the table. So just be aware of that. If you need something that's going to be flat, that's not going to give you that extra, say, 3 inches on every side. That's something that I wish I had known. Because I was planning on, I don't need this much space. I can just turn this pitch car build a little sideways and I still have the felt in the middle. No, you can't really do that unless they've changed it since then. I can do a multi-level Dwarven Forge build with one of the toppers and a mini piece of felt, which is like 1/3 the size, which they recommended for me. And I can do one on top and one on the bottom. The Trench Patrol blocks off an area of your table, which stops errant dice from going through, or other components getting lost in the depths of the portion of your table that is being covered up. You could also hide another Dwarven Forge build under there. Hide the next room of the dungeon that you have set up, so you can do another grand reveal. I got 2 trench patrols, so I can do I have some versatility for the table. I can change the size of the game cellar and give more space on the ends or even in the middle of the table for cards, snacks, or I can just make the game area smaller to make it smaller on both ends so I can keep things focused. Because if you're like me, you are going to want to get the biggest table you can afford and or fit into your room. Or like me, that you estimate can fit through the narrow stairwell in the house that's trying to kill you to get it up into your game room. But that means if you have a smaller game or a smaller number of players, you're going to be sitting like Kim Basinger and Michael Keaton in the dining room of Wayne Manor. Speaking of dining, get the width-wise leaves. Dear Strahd, I can't imagine why you wouldn't do this. It gives you so much more versatility in tweaking your table for whatever you feel like doing. Between the widthwise leaves, the felt cap, the trench patrol, you have a lot of options for setting up RPGs and board games. So talking about options now. Now we're going to get to the little things. You can get drawers in your table, and they're nice drawers. You can get them with the same inlay as your table, the same color cloth as your table. I've seen folks in other videos put their wine glass holders or cup holders in these, but that seems like a waste of space to me. I like to keep player spell cards, maybe a player handbook, player's handbook, dice pouch, bottle openers, corkscrews, menus in mine. I'm also able to fit some small binders in mine for my flat plastic minis. They're not overly deep. They're likely going to be covered up by some of your other add-ons. So likely you're going to want to keep things in here that you won't necessarily need during a game session, just before and after. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. My brand is Slight Misplay. I went with the smaller daily drawers on 3 sides and the colossal drawer on 1 long side, so I wasn't limiting my space by breaking it up in case I wanted something bigger in there. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Now, the rail. Around the table you have an aluminum rail which hooks up with the rest of these add-ons pretty easily. I think the idea is that if the rail breaks off one of these, it's not going to damage the wood. And especially it's not going to damage the wood of the table, which is the big investment. These you can replace. I'm not sure how easily, but those you can replace. The table, you're not replacing the table. Like that's not happening. It's yours now. So I'm still very cautious with these, with my kids and my friends about leaning on them just in case. But my kids have leaned on these a lot. They've put their full body weight on them, and they've been fine. I coach them, and hey, no, don't lean on that. Please don't lean on that. Please don't lean on that. No, they, it's hard. They need to reach over again. This table is difficult for little kids to get up onto unless you have a good seating area. Even then, they're leaning. Their temptation is going to be to lean on something that's in front of them because it's easier for them. So I do take off a lot of these add-ons that I'm about to talk about when I'm playing with the kids as possible. The interesting thing is, though, question is, are they easy to get in and out? Yeah, my kids figured it out. My kids are 7 and 5. My 5-year-old daughter figures them out no problem. She knows how to move a cup holder to where she's sitting just as easily as I can, probably more easily than I can right now because I'm old and have bad eyes now and can't see because I got my rails stained, so they look nice, but unfortunately they kind of blend into the wood. So, but it makes it look prettier, and we like pretty things, right? On the rails, we can add cup holders. Why am I so excited about cup holders? Okay. Apparently, if you're asking that question, you haven't painstakingly painted Space Hulk minis for 6 months up until the birth of your daughter to do justice to the game after receiving it as a special birthday present from your gaming friends after your mom died, set up the beautifully embossed map all on your dining room table just to have your friend completely upend an IPA over everything before you even started playing. No? Just me? I hate IPAs. So obviously, the cup holders and wine glass holders get the evil beverages the hell out of the way from the gaming surface. What you may not realize, maybe you probably do, you're probably smarter than me, but if this is the first gaming table you're purchasing, I had an aha moment when I was thinking about this whole purchase. By getting the effing drinks, the F off the effing table, you're actually increasing your gaming space. Right now, your table real estate is doing double duty. So while you're measuring your current table to see what size your new table should be, remember, you're going to get even more playable, gameable space in the game vault, the game cellar rather, because there aren't going to be any damn drinks there. So I probably went overboard with all my cup holders and wine holders. My group went through a wine phase. I bought enough wine holders for everyone. Then they switched to mead and cider and beer. And of course, one person's always got the jumbo iced tea from Dunkin' Donuts. And I've usually got a water bottle and a beverage of choice, like I do right now. This guy is super big, so sorry about that. So it still barely fits in there. Doesn't fit in my car anymore. The new Camelback water things don't fit in my car. They still fit in my table. Cup holders. Where was I? So cup holders. So yeah, I went overboard with them. And You can get them jumbo sized. Make sure you get the right size for your group. Unless you're drinking out of thimbles, think about getting the jumbo American sized ones. The thing about this is there's only so much rail space to go around, and the cup holders are competing with all of your other goodies. So you need to be smart about that. And Rathskellers will help you like they helped me with considering this, even cautioning me to reduce my order because I'm clearly insane. What else is competing for this rail space? I'm glad you asked. Card and counter holders. These are great. You've got your player station set up and out of the cellar because this is none ya. This is none ya business. This goes over here and nobody can really see it super easy. They can stand up and see it, I guess. But if you need your dedicated, so many games have just dedicated player boards and areas. That's got your player card, your dice, your tokens. You can put a small deck of cards there. It's great for Gloomhaven where you can get all that stuff away from the main area, keep the main area, games are getting big, games are huge. So getting those things out of the game cellar that don't need to be there and in front of you is great. What you don't get with these though, is you don't get enough space on one of these for a full character sheet. A full piece of paper. So get a clipboard, keep your sheet turned sideways until you need it. And these have what? Oh gosh. More ledge lines. So many cards you can keep there. Between the ledge lines on the card and counter holders and the table, Gloomhaven is so much easier to set up than at just a straight dining room table. I freaking love ledge lines so much. The card and counter holders come in two sizes. I got 6 of the big ones, thinking my D&D group and the big board games that I play, probably not going to need more than that. I'm happy about that. But here's the thing. Remember we talked about Bruce Wayne, Vicky Vale, Wayne Manor, dining room table. The big trays can push you back unless you have enough space in between them. So again, unless you want to position them to the side, you may not have enough room for that. They could potentially push you back from the main table. Again, I play standing a lot of the time. If for something like D&D where people are just mostly sitting and there's not a lot of necessarily tactical movement every single turn, that's probably okay. For a lot of board games, and if you have a back problem, just think about that. You may need to reposition things. Just things that I have learned. I honestly prefer to stand. The table is heavy enough that I'm not moving it anywhere if I lean on the table itself. I still don't ever lean on the rail things, although they take quite a beating. My kids have definitely leaned on them. They do just fine. So again, if you play enough games with individual player boards, you need these for space to get that stuff off the table. Again, we're playing a real estate game. No, not like Monopoly. Dude, sometimes I think you don't know me at all. So other tchotchkes, the tablet holder. These are good. I got 2. I have a friend who has his D&D character on his tablet. I got one for him to use. I don't even know if he uses it, to be honest. I got one for me since I'm always playing music or looking up rules on my iPad, but that's not what I even use it for. My iPad I mostly use sideways landscape view with a keyboard on it. I put it somewhere else on the table. I got plenty of space for it. It finds, and I use them for rules mostly, and they're okay for that. They do tend to flop over the top a little bit. I kind of think that if Rathskellers is listening, this might be an opportunity for a new add-on. Something, a lot of games require a lot of rules references. It's nice to be able to have them. I do put an iPad here with the rules set up, but again, I've got my, I keep my iPad gangsta style sideways, so it's not it's not always ideal to just fit in here. It's got like a cover around it. Nothing's gonna fit everybody. But I do like the idea of having like an add-on, just caddy for rules. I do keep my either a player's handbook or a monster manual, or any kind of a full-size D&D hardcover in there. I usually keep them open. It holds them just fine. It's like a little music stand. So it's great for that. And then there are the unsung heroes. The bins. Now, these go in the rail section. Now, while the other items will cover up the drawers, but you can still open the drawers and close them, the bins do go down lower than the drawers. So if you've got a bin in front of a drawer and you're hoping to open that drawer, that's not going to happen. And then you're going to try to open up the bin, take the bin off the rail system, and depending on how much you've stacked into that bin, that stuff is going to fly out all over the place. So beware. Also, don't try to take the cup holder off when there's a drink inside it. That's just, I know, you think you can do it, you can't do it. Just don't do it. But the bins, I wasn't sure about the bins at first. I mean, when am I really going to want to just chuck a bunch of stuff into a bin so I can't really find it? Like with a big game like Rune Wars or Rebellion, I want to intimidate my opponents with my vast and superior forces sprawling across my railing. And I want to be able to pick out individual pieces quickly. So I was kind of delighted to realize that I can use the bins to quickly break down a game, chuck everything into the bin, and get ready for the next one. Sorry, future Keith. He's got to clean that stuff up, but I don't. I can go on to play. I can also use them for extra dice. I give them, I put them on one side of my D&D area so players can use dice to keep track of hit points, or have extra dice for big damage rolls. Somebody's doing fireball, they don't have like 18d6 next to them. I also use them to keep extra minis in them when I'm DMing. Any extra things that I need to hand out to the players that I don't need right in front of me the entire time or that won't fit into my drawer. Because like I said, the drawers are a little shallow. I also use them to separate stuff when I'm setting up games like Forbidden Stars. I can put all the bags in the game and set them up on an individual player station, and then they can go through their stuff once we're actually setting up and deciding where our stuff is going or how they want to do it. But they are going to block your drawers, if you're doing that. But here's the other thing, though, is that you don't need to attach them to your drawers. I keep one just by my foot when I'm DMing. That way I have it right near me. Nobody's looking down there anyways. And they're also very helpful to shuttle items back and forth in between rooms if you, for some reason, need to do that. So back to the main table. So, So lights, sound effects, of course, you want these. I think these are even upgraded now. I heard some folks talk about the lights being distracting or causing eye fatigue. I have not had this problem. You're getting a table to provide an event experience for games. This is a no-brainer to me. I can change a regular Dwarven Forge build to an icy build by turning the table lights blue. I can enhance a lava build by making things blink red or yellow. I can make the lights go up or down in a certain color to increase the drama of a certain area, just kind of add like a little effect there. Or I can change between the colors and make them blink faster for combat. I love hazing people with that. If I this is probably not the most sensitive thing to do for anybody. But yeah, I totally speed up the lights and have them change when it's combat because I know it's going to mess with them. It's going to mess with them. And if I'm playing Star Wars, I can make it red when it's the Rebels' turn. I can make it blue when it's the Imperial player's turn. I can make it green when the Death Star blows something up. And my kids freaking love that. I think I just have the basic light system. There's newer ones that are out there on their site that are probably even better. Like they have player zones. Like, geez, why would you not want the option to do this? Good Lord. Having the lights means when you walk into the game room, it's going to be an awesome night. I will say it helps if you have dimmable overhead lights for this because it can be difficult to read character sheets or cards or game rules by just the table light. I have adjustable lights in my game room just for that purpose, and I have had players bring book lights, just small portable lamps so they can just have their own little playable lights so it doesn't detract from the overall mood, because that's what we're going for, is an overall just experience. Now the sound system, again, duh, you're already at the party. Now for me, I always have music playing. I have playlists for every one of the games on my shelves, and every potential scene in my RPG games. If the music is distracting to some people, you can turn it down. So many games now are using apps too, like Mansions of Madness, Descent, Imperial Assault, Fireball Island. Fireball Island has an app. Like, don't you want to play that through the table? It's great to have that booming through the table. Or have a tabletop audio track running as ambient noise during a D&D session. It's in the table. It pulls you in. If you're someone who just doesn't like music, or if you already have a decent sound system in your game room, okay. I had a lot of speaker options for my game room, and I still went with this because it frees up my other speakers to use elsewhere. And these are nice. And now they have even better ones. Now, I will say I have not been able to get my devices to play music through the USB port. It's got to be Bluetooth, and there's no switch on my table. They may have upgraded to that since then, but I don't think so. If my table finds my phone first and I want to play through my iPad, I need to disconnect from my phone, unplug the table from down here, and please don't seat your klutzy friend by the corner with the plug. But I adapted. I overcame. And they may have fixed this. This brings me to another point. As far as I can tell, there's no repair or upgrade plan on these tables. So aside from replacing LED bulbs, which I think they provided me with instructions with and in tools when I first bought it, I've probably since lost them. But if something goes wrong with the electronics, well, don't let your friends lean hard on the USB plug stations on there. This is a huge purchase. It's got a hefty lead time as well as custom issues. And especially if you're not in if you're in the US, you're not in Greece, you're not just going to jump into getting another anything if you misjudged. You're certainly not going to you're not going to are you going to write them for another cup holder? Maybe. You're still going to have to probably wait for it and get it through customs. Maybe, I don't know how big or small it has to be, but you're not sending your table back to get an LED system installed or a Bluetooth sound system installed. But you're also not really able to get it repaired. So that's the lights and the sound. I absolutely love them. I don't have any issues with them aside from the little things that I've mentioned. The only thing that I didn't find premium about anything was the lack of a switch. They explained it to me. Why they didn't put a switch in it, but it's kind of a bummer. But if you plug it into something that has like a Bluetooth app or something on your phone, then you can kind of turn on and off the maybe a switch with that. That's what I would say to do. If you're smarter than I am. So the other thing, I have one double-sided felt, and when I ordered, I asked about a second one, but I was cautioned against it because they take up a lot of space, and they do. What I forgot was that I now have a lot of space. I just moved into a new house with a dedicated game room, a dedicated game house, for Christ's sake. So I kind of limited myself by not getting a second felt through them, and I wasn't going to go back and buy one from them. So I could do 2 levels, but one of the levels wouldn't have the speed cloth on it. And that was it. Honestly, I limited myself by doing that for a long time. And then I went to a friend's house and they had a what is it here? Let me grab this for you guys. See how portable this is? I got one of these, big Viking game mat. I got this custom made, whatever color I wanted, whatever size I wanted. And it covers up whatever layer. I don't have my main felt on, and that was an easy fix. It'll fit right on the felt topper, or it'll fit right on the bottom, depending on what color I want or what I think is going to be needed to lift up or out. And that's an easy thing. So I might even get some more for different sizes, depending on if I want to break up the table. But that would just be, right now it's just excessive. Other little things. The drawers don't hold a ton, like I said. So I got an IKEA bench. Let me show this little thing for you. A little IKEA stool. for extra stuff. Can keep books in there, spell cards, what have you. I do my little Captain Morgan pose on there. Hi there. That's what I usually game on. I usually stand and just use that thing and take a knee on it or just lean up on it, and it's fine, and it keeps stuff underneath it, and it matches everything because I like black. I like dark things. Another thing is that there wasn't an option for leaf storage or any accessory storage under the table when I bought my table. They do offer that now. I'd say think about that, but I got a Kallax for my game room. I had an extra one because I'm always just expanding my game collection, and I was just being paranoid. Okay, better get an extra one for building stuff. And then I realized, okay, I can fit all of my accessories for this table, and I have a lot of accessories into one Kallax game shelf, and it matches everything else I have, as does the wood, because you're probably like me, you're smart, you're coordinating your room if you're doing something like that. So that was an easy solution. What are those, like $40, $80? So compared to, something additional add-on, you can do something like that. Rathskellers overall, great to work with. Again, I'm not Tom Vassell. I'm not Matt Colville. I was just a dude who wanted to buy a sick-ass game table. No special treatment. I got a couple little upgrades for making such a big purchase. So they said they upgraded the type of wood to me to rustic oak, and they told me I was getting some kind of a variable height system with my table, but I think that's kind of just a selling point. I didn't see any hand cranks or pulleys or anything like that with the table. I just kind of set it up, and it's been the height that it's been at. So, okay. Maybe they can write to me and explain to me what that's supposed to be, or if it's supposed to be movable after you set the table up, but I don't know. It's not a big deal. I like the height of the table. They treated me very well. They were very responsive. They do get busy around convention seasons. I expect they'll be extremely busy if they're getting the number of orders from their Sunny Geeks Kickstarter. But most of the time it was very quick and thoughtful responses. I never once got the feeling that I was anything but their number one, if not only, customer. And that, to me, I'm a huge customer service guy. That was huge. I never felt that they were just trying to get me to spend more money on upgrades and add-ons. They actually talked me out of getting more items than I could use. Well, at least they tried to, because I'm pretty insane and it was my money to spend. So they know their stuff. They know their table. They know their customer base. And they know what their stuff's going to be used for, and they know how to maximize that use. So the elephant in the room. No. This is the frickin' Oliphant, Mastodon, Dragon, Tarrasque in the room. Every time I see a game or a Dwarven Forge video on YouTube, or I play a game at someone else's house, or even anywhere in my own house that is not on this table, I think to myself and often say out loud, dude, we gotta play this on the table. In the 2.5 years, almost 3 years, I think, since I've had this table, I don't think I've played on it once or even been in the room with it without taking a moment to say, holy crap, this is awesome. And I have heard that from friends countless times. Same friends over and over again. Every new player that sees it, it's a whoa experience. It adds to your experience. I'm the guy who wants full immersion. I want the lights. I want the music. I want to completely forget the outside hellscape world and get lost inside the game world, or even just in the game room with my friends. That's what gaming is to me. You know what else this table is to me? It's a chance to host my friends, to show them a really good time, and to show them that I care enough about the time they've carved out to spend with me to invest in their night. It says games are special. You are special. Let me show you. Let's have an experience. I mean, just look at this thing. I'm only half joking when I say when I die, I want to be freaking buried in this table so I can keep haunting my game room and keep on playing on this beast. A game table like this is not like a blockbuster movie. But the difference between playing a game, any game, on your kitchen or dining room table and playing on this is the difference between watching an Avengers movie or Fury Road on your phone during a layover at an airport or watching it in 4D cross-dimensional VR surround sound. If you want every session to feel like a night at medieval times, this is for you. My 7-year-old son summed it up best. I asked him what he liked about the table, what he liked about playing at the table versus the playroom floor, the dining room table, the coffee table. We play all over the place. He's always asking me to come upstairs. Can we play in the game room? Can we play on the table? I said, what is it about the table? And he thought about it for a second. He goes, it just feels right. Look, buying a new guitar isn't going to make you a better guitar player, but it'll probably get you even more excited about playing guitar than you were before. Throwing on some flashy lights and music isn't going to make you a rock star, but it will make everybody at the table feel like one. So I hope this is helpful for you when you're making your decision, and congratulations on even considering a big epic game table like this, because it's exciting. It's God. Yeah, like you're investing in your hobby is what you're doing. And it's, man, this can really, really pay off. So I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you have any questions, please comment below. Find me on Twitter at @SlightMisplay. Please share this with anyone who you think might find it helpful. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the things. If you'd like to help me continue and improve and bring you content like this and other gamey, nerdy, geeky materials, please consider my Patreon, my Ko-Fi pages, coffee. God damn it, every time. And until next time, wear a mask, wash your hands, vote, and onward.